Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I'm so excited because we already kind of started the conversation before, but I am here with Glennetrius, Coach G. Neal. We're going to talk about anxiety because I really wanted to have a conversation with her because we are entering the second half of 2024. Can you believe it? And I really wanted to just kind of have a conversation so that you can get some tips and strategies on how you can deal with the anxiety. So maybe you can get something crossed off your list, or maybe you can look at something and say, you know what, maybe this is not the season for me to even tackle that. So, Coach G, thank you so much for joining us today.
And I am so happy to be here with you, Janet, and get ready for this conversation.
So, before we get into the conversation, what made you decide to, start your business, become Coach G? You have a podcast. What was like the things that got you started?
Ooh, vision. But what really pushed me was I had a wake up call, as I've shared in some of my stories. I talk about I had a bigger than me moment. It was like now, or never. What are you
Mm.
going to do? And I knew I wanted to add value in growing and developing women leaders, so they can so they can win from within. They can really reach their full potential and really just walk in my purpose and passion. It was like, it's time. Why are you sitting on it? But sometimes things have to happen that will cause you to step outside of your comfort zone.
So today I want our conversation to be about anxiety and what does it mean, but also what are some of the causes? Because you hear that a lot. And a lot of times you even it's interesting you hear it when you're dealing with women in leadership roles. So
Mhm.
what is anxiety and what are some of the causes of
You know what? I'm going to start with this. You're going to like part of this word, clutter in your mind.
it? Mm.
We're putting you're overthinking. It's too much. It's not organized. You're all over the place. It makes you anxious. There's that word angst. So let me just take you to school for a minute. When we think about that word angst from anxiety, it's a Latin word for angere, which means to choke, to strangle, to cause distress. Now, you feel that part of anxiety happening. It's actually that physical uncomfort. You're uncomfortable, you're nervous, you're worried too much. So think about all those words that I'm saying. A lot of that stuff is going on in our mind, in our thoughts, which causes us to be uneasy. Your body is now reacting to it. You feel the jitters, your heart is racing. Man, I can tell you, personal experience. One of the first thing, it was during COVID. We're trying to find a way to connect, right? And I was setting up a Zoom call with a group of ladies, trying to bridge and build this community. I'm getting prepared for it. And I tell you what, all of a sudden, I feel like the butterflies in my stomach. My heart is racing, feeling like, what in the world is going on right now? That it almost made me just stop and want to say, okay, I'm not going to do this today. And I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm in this position and it was in my heart to do, then that means I've been called to do this. So I had to begin to separate myself from that feeling and actually connect myself to the purpose. And maybe I'm moving ahead. But you know what? When we talk about anxiety, it is a normal feeling. Now, there are those medical conditions that I cannot speak on. I'm not the medical professional, but from experience and knowing others and hearing others' story, you begin to gain a knowledge and wisdom in how to make better choices so you don't get to the point where you choked out, constricted. Because according to a global burden of disease study, they actually said that it's reported that 284 million people are affected by anxiety disorders, with women more likely affected than men. Now, I can almost see that as being true because we tend to carry um, a heavy load because we want to be the nurturer, there for everyone, do everything, take care of the kids, take care of the hubby, take care of the spouse, or you take care of the partner, or take care of the community. We want to take care of everyone and then not take care of ourselves. And so then now all of that worry or that going and going and doing have caused that emotion inside of yourself.
Wow. And when you were talking, Coach G, the one thing I thought about was, and this kind of goes into the strategy. One woman, she's an executive leader. Her to-do list every day had at least 30 items on.
Mm.
And I said, there's 30 days in a month. I mean, these were not items that were, dealing with her business and her profession. These are personal items. I'm like, you're over, because she
Mm.
kept saying, I'm anxious and I'm worried and I'm doing this.
Mm.
So for those women out there and men, some men listen to this podcast,
Yes.
what strategies do you have specifically as we go into the second half of the year? You're looking at that things you wanted to do in the beginning of the year. Maybe you got one thing done, maybe you didn't get anything done. How A strategy on how to, I guess, manage your anxiety so you're not overwhelmed, and of course you're not feeling like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Do you have any tips or strategies you can share?
I'll start with this. I love giving acronyms because I believe that sometimes we can retain it better. We can sort it in our day and in our thoughts, and maybe it can even bring a calm to reduce that anxiety, right? So I want you to think about, I just said think. Think. That's the word, think. So you ask yourself, is it true? Is it healthy? Is this insightful? Is it nurturing? Is it kind? Take that in that situation you're in. Maybe now you feel the anxiety and you're saying, okay, is this true? Yes, I may be feeling this, but I need to disconnect because this is just a feeling. Because it's what I'm getting ready to do. What did I just say earlier? Okay, I've been purpose and called to do this. I've accepted this assignment. This is what I'm getting ready to do. Is it healthy? Okay, if the thought is if it's putting you in a position to almost make you feel like I don't know if I can do this or this is too much. Okay, wait a minute. You're saying it's too much. Why is it too much? What's making it too much? Start digging deep inside because the work starts from the inner part, in our thoughts. What did I say? Clutter in your mind. It's all there because something's telling you you need to do those 30 things on that list. But really, what's really priority? What's really important? From where you are, the goal you're setting, what you're doing in that day, what really matters? Pick the top three. You said 30 days. Okay, do one a day. There you go. Segment some time. We have 24 hours in a day. Segment some time. Maybe sometimes, I even think about somebody may say, well, you know what? I get anxious when I get ready to present to someone. Okay. So now know that that's a normal feeling. Be okay with that. It's normal. That's insightful. Okay, this is normal. There's no need of me getting all out of sorts and losing my mind over this and, making it feel like I'm not adequate because sometimes we downsize ourselves thinking that we don't meet up to it. But I promise you, if it's on there for you to do, it's for you to do and to be in it, to be in that moment, to be present. And is it nurturing? How are you nurturing yourself for that moment? If that thought is not nurturing, then you know what? You need to dump it. Sometimes it's easily said than done, but guess what? You get to do it. I always use that word, you get to. You get to do that. You get to sort through things in your life because you have to take in ownership of your own life. You get to rest into what feels good. You get to do that because you deserve that. Is it kind? Be kind with yourself. It's okay if you get nervous. It's okay. It's okay sometimes when we overthink, just stop for a minute and pause and say, okay, let me pause for a minute.
Mm.
Me and Janet was talking about that before this started. I said, just pause. Even when you start making changes, you can get a little anxious. So be very aware when those feelings or those emotions, because anxiety is a feeling.
Mm.
Sometimes we're telling ourselves what we can't do. You just created a nervous feeling. But now you're going to have to refocus and shift that focus. Step away from that, disconnect to that's really making you powerless, and connect to what's creating the power in you to be powerful in what you need to set that task to do. Don't get bombarded with all the tasks or the checklist. Man, if I woke up and I said, I have 50 things on my list, I'm already just like, I'm done.
I am too.
You know,
I am.
it's like take me out now, right?
Yeah. Mm.
But we can't do that. We get to step back because you want to be fully present in wherever you position yourself.
Mm. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you were saying so many things, and I was just thinking, even the anxiety, because yes, I still get anxiety when I have to present. And one
Mhm.
of the things I learned from myself is just preparing just little things before. I
Yeah.
already know, my outfit. Okay, let me pack my bag. And then I sometimes prepare like a week before. I just go over my notes and I just keep going over it each and every day so that when I do get in front of the people, I'm a little bit more at ease because it's like, okay, well, I know the material. So now I just have to really engage the audience. So, and I'm glad you just shared that. And like you said, really look at those top three because I think sometimes we think everything is immediate and it really isn't.
Yes.
And just thinking, I mean, if I knew I had 50 items, Coach G, ah, it's bad enough just getting out of bed just to do the exercises in the morning. Just that's the one item. It's like, Jenny, get up and do the
There
exercises.
you go. You in
You
my
said,
lane on that one.
and sometimes you need to share these stories because someone who does yoga, and she said, do you think I really enjoyed just getting out of bed? And I said, that just freed me. That just freed me because
Yeah.
I'm feeling guilty over here. So,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh,
Mm.
can I say something, Janet? With
Hmm.
you saying that, what comes to me is you saying, thank you for saying that, because often we see people and we try to, oh, let me do it like that. Well, that is that comparison, which can cause anxiety.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you have to realize anxiety is no respecter of persons. Even you as a speaker, as me as a speaker, we both get that nervousness, that jitteriness, all of that. That happens really every single time before I get ready to do anything.
Me too.
Speaking, interviews, just as this. But now I realize I'm aware of what that is. I'm like, okay, this is normal. This is just normal.
Hmm.
But if I prepare for this moment, I'm good.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't have to say everything that maybe I've prepared for. It's okay
Yeah.
because now I'm trusting the process of what is. Because it's
Hmm.
something, it's always bigger. What I said, bigger than me moment. It's bigger than you. Sometimes we make it all
Hmm.
about us. It's about
Hmm.
me, what I want, what I'm trying to do. It's bigger than you.
Hmm. You're so
So
right.
maybe you don't get everything checked off that list, but it's like dissecting it, putting it in its place, positioning it where it needs to be,
Mm,
um,
mm, mm.
to sort through your day.
And you're so right. Coach G, I could talk to you all day, but I do have one more question for you. How
Okay.
do you maintain order? Because you are a businesswoman, you know, podcaster, wife, mother, community, this, that, and the other. So how do you like maintain order, manage it all?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna give you 4 P's. 4 P's. And I might be honest about this. That question, um, I'm like, okay, how do I really maintain? I mean, really. But I started thinking, this helps me organize my thoughts. So if the anxiety does happen, because it's normal. Now, if it's way out of sorts, sometimes that's when we have to seek help. That's a different. But sometimes, again, you go through that questioning of ask yourself, okay, I'm a coach, so I love to ask questions. Ask yourself those questions. What I go back to think? Is it true? Is it, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But to organize my thoughts, I said the 4 P's. And we were already talking about one, preparation. Preparation is powerful. Now, it doesn't take away the feeling, but it can ease it to help you step into it. So you can ask yourself, how can I best prepare? Now, some situations can happen. You can get a call, an unexpected call that makes you say, oh no. But even in that moment, you say, how can I prepare for this moment? Maybe preparation for that moment is just to cry. Maybe preparation for that moment is let me take a minute and just journal this. Maybe preparation for that moment is just to breathe. Okay, let me just stop for a minute. Let me just be still. Because me reacting to the moment is not actually helping the situation. So it takes that part what I said, writing out, practicing, practicing for your presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Let me practice for this. Create yourself a checklist. It's okay to have checklists. Now, don't get me wrong. We were talking about that. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But have a checklist that you can manage that doesn't make you anxious before you even get ready to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By prioritizing what's important for me today for this moment to get ready for next week or to get ready for 3 days from now. And then that other P is position. Position yourself. Elevate your thoughts. It's like in what lifts you up. It's pretty much like setting yourself apart from the feeling. I'm going there again. Separating yourself from the feeling and stepping into what's next, that purpose. What did I say? That bigger than me moment. I focused on that purpose. I focused on that passion, what was driving me into, even though here I am, feeling a little anxious, feeling, unclear, because even in that positioning, you allow yourself to reflect on it. So that kind of integrates into that position. Now let me reflect on what really caused me to feel this way. So, like after you have a situation, sometimes it is after the fact. It's like, what caused me to feel like that? That's happened to me. I was done with the speech, and I looked at my watch, and it was talking about your heartbeat. I was like, hey, that was right before I spoke. I didn't even realize it, but I was able to look at that and reflect on that moment. What did that mean? Was I overthinking or overanalyzing? Because sometimes when we take ourselves through those questions, now we're able to actually manage and thrive into that next step of what we need to do. And then that positivity. I'm all about positivity. Now, I'm not saying you don't look at for what it is, but what breeds happy thoughts in that moment. Think of the things that breathe the positivity that I can do this. I am capable. I am called for what I do. Start speaking that in that moment. I do that. Right before I speak, I said, you know what? I am called for this moment. I am positioned to be in the place that I'm in. Sometimes it would be times going into a room, I feel a little nervous. You know what? I am present in this moment and I belong in this room. I am a light in places I go. Start speaking that and that kind of reduces that anxiety. Kind of step into it. And then my last and favorite one is prayer. Prayer and meditation. You know what? Because that gives you an opportunity to take a power pause.
Mm-hmm.
Take your power pause. Now, whatever your power pause is, I'm telling you mine. She asked me, how do you maintain?
Yeah.
I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you mine.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that, you're asking yourself, what gives you peace and calm? I know that's
Mm-hmm.
what gives me peace and calm. I know that's what gives me power. And I breathe in that moment. I breathe in that moment, and and it's an exercise. I just say 4, 7, 8. So you breathe in through your nose of 4, breathing in that what you want to happen, what you see, what you visualize, that positive action, or the result from that action. And then hold it for 7. Be in it for that moment. Just hold it for 7. That's just like you breathing. That's what you're doing. You're focusing on, this is what I'm taking in. And you know what? And that 8, you breathe out. I will not be distracted, what you're not going to allow yourself to be distracted with. Let it go. Let it go and embrace the power to move, because again, anxiety will what? Constrict you.
Mm-hmm.
So use that and then move. Take a step. I always said, what's your next step? Take your next step. Even if it's crawl, take the next step.
Wow. That was powerful, Coach G. I was taking notes. I hope those of you listening or watching were taking notes too. That was powerful. So, how can people connect with you, Coach G?
Of course, of course. You can go to my website, gstylecoaching.com. Look on that, go to the contact tab so we can work together and say, let's win together, win with Coach G, because you know what? Let's win. Let's win from within. Maybe it's within yourself, within your organization. And then we can connect on Instagram and Facebook at Coach G Style, or LinkedIn at Coach G Neal. Wherever you are, here I am. And so we can, maybe it's just as simple as connecting. Just like me and Janet connected on several occasions. So I'm so happy to have had this moment with you, Janet, and with your listeners as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And of course, those watching and listening know that I will have all of Coach G's direct links on the show page so you can connect with her. Well, Coach G, thank you so much for this conversation. It has truly, motivated me as well as inspired me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet.